Hello programmers and welcome to the first Kotlin for Noobs lecture. I'm your host codingPotato, and in this lecture I will be introducing you to the Kotlin programming language as well as show you the different ways that Kotlin can be used in. Before we start with the lecture, I would like to point a couple of things out. In my lectures, we will be learning programming together using an IDE and discussing the theory using prepared slides. You can also use the slides to study at your own pace. All materials, including the slides and code, are free and can be downloaded from a Google Drive folder and a GitHub repo. I do not include any ads in my videos as my goal is to spread knowledge and help people learn for the sake of God. The lectures may be split into two parts if necessary, with one part theory and the other part for programming. Now, without any further delay, let's start with the lecture. Our first lecture is just an introduction to Kotlin. And we can see here that Kotlin is a general-purpose programming language. It originated with the JetBrains company as a new language that targets the JVM. The JVM is the Java virtual machine. Kotlin has some features, mainly the flexibility and simplicity, a concise syntax, has a wide range of libraries, runs on many operating systems, and it has various execution environments, which we will have a look at in a minute. Now, the execution environments, as you can see here, we have at the core the common Kotlin, and we have some wrappers around it. We have Kotlin native, Kotlin JS, and the Kotlin JVM, which is the Java virtual machine. These wrappers allow Kotlin to run in different modes. Kotlin native allows you to run Kotlin applications natively on your operating system. Kotlin JS allows you to run Kotlin programs in Node or in your browser. And Kotlin JVM obviously allows you to run Kotlin programs in the Java virtual machine. Now, in this course, we will be mainly focusing on Kotlin JVM and programming programs for the Java virtual machine. Alright, so the JVM. Kotlin JVM platform is the most widely used platform by far, with the majority being used for Android application development and mobile apps development. Now, I know that most of you here are learning Kotlin because they want to develop applications for Android. Now, this series is not about Android development, it's mainly about the Kotlin programming language. However, at the end of the series, I will try to make a couple of videos that can help you get started with the Android development using Kotlin, and hopefully in the future, if God wills, I will be making a separate series about Android development. Learning Kotlin is essential if you would like to start with Android development, as Google, which owns Android, is moving towards using Kotlin. Previously they were using Java, but if you look around you will find that most applications nowadays are starting to use Kotlin instead. So in this course we will be learning Kotlin and have a look at Android at the end, and in the future, if God wills, I will be making another series or another course about Android development. So right here you can see how Java works. You start with making your Java program using Java, and then the Java compiler, which is the program that takes the human readable code and turns it into bytecode that can be read by the Java virtual machine. As you know, computers can't read English or pretty much any other language. They work with bytecode and binary, stuff like that. So the compiler is in charge of turning your code into the bytecode that runs on the JVM. As you can see here, using the JVM, you can run your program on different operating systems. Example, Windows, macOS, Linux, etc. That's what is nice about Java, as it allows you to run the same program on different operating systems, which means that you don't have to program or write your code independently for different operating systems. So that's when the JVM comes in. So Java takes care of that for you. They work on the JVM. You just have to write your program, compile it, and it will work everywhere. However, the user who is going to use your application needs to have the JVM installed on their computer to be able to run your program, because it is not a native program. So here we will have a look at Kotlin. So in Kotlin you have your KT file. The KT extension is the extension for Kotlin files, and this is where you write your program. You write your program, put it in a KT file, and then send it to the Kotlin compiler. Just like the JVM compiler or the Java compiler, the Kotlin compiler will create or generate the bytecode that will run on the JVM. This JVM is the same Java virtual machine that Java uses, so the user does not have to install something else that is related to Kotlin specifically. They can just download Java on their system and it will run the compiled Kotlin program. And this allows you, of course, to run your Kotlin program using the JVM on different operating systems, for example, Windows, macOS, Linux, etc. Now, running Kotlin programs. As I said in the beginning of the lecture, I will show you how to run the different ways to run Kotlin programs. Now, the first way is using REPL. REPL stands for read, evaluate, something like that. I forgot what it means. Oh yeah, it's right here. Read, evaluate, print loop. That's the name for the interpreter. It's essentially an interpreter, and we will see in a minute. We can run it as a script file or compile it to be run on the Java JVM, which is the Java virtual machine. So first of all, we have REPL. REPL is an interpreter that allows you to run Kotlin programs on the go, or not programs as a whole. It allows you to run lines of Kotlin on the go. If you are familiar with Python, it's very similar, where you start Python and just type in the commands and you get the output. It's essentially the same thing here. So why don't we have a look here? Okay, so you run it using the command in a terminal or in the command prompt on your device. You start with using the command kotlin jvm, and this command will start the interpreter. As you can see here, welcome to Kotlin version, the version, etc. And then you can start typing your Kotlin commands here. As you can see, we are using the println command to print this string out to the console. And it does print it out. It says, welcome to Kotlin for Noobs. You can do some addition, as you can see here, 6 plus 9, and it will give you the result 15 right here. And this is the type of the variable, and we will have a look at that later. You don't have to worry about it for now. We can also declare and assign variables. As you can see here, val name equals to the string codingPotato, and I can print it out using string literals, which we will have a look at later in this course. So for now, why don't we switch to my computer and we can see or try this out ourselves. So the command to start this, you just have to start up your terminal or your command prompt if you're on Windows. And by the way, you don't have to worry about installing or trying any of this. This is just to show you how Kotlin can be used in different ways. We will be using IntelliJ, the IDE, later on, and we will be practicing on that. And using that, you don't have to download anything. It comes pre-bundled with the IDE. So for now, don't worry about this. This is just to show you how Kotlin can be used. So we can start it with Kotlin-JVM, and if I hit enter, this will start the interpreter. It says welcome to Kotlin version 1.8 GRA17, which is the Java version, and we can just run our commands. So if I say println and I give it a string, This is the argument, which we'll have a look at later. If you don't know what this means, don't worry about it. We can say anything we want. Welcome to Kotlin for Noobs. And I hit enter or return, and it will take a second and it will print whatever string I give it out to the console. I can do whatever I want. Print ln, and I'll put a different string this time. I can say my name is codingPotato. Hit return or enter, and it will print it out saying my name is codingPotato. I can try out the addition that we saw previously. 10 plus 2 will give me 12. So this is a very nice calculator. 80 plus 2, 82. 44 plus 15 is 59, stuff like that. I'm not going to try the last one, which had a string literal, because we will talk about it later. So this is all you need to know for now about the Kotlin REPL or Kotlin REPL or the interpreter. To exit, you can click and hold Control D, Control L to clear your terminal. So let's go back and see what else we have. Now we have using the JVM, which is the Java Virtual Machine. Using the Kotlin compiler, we can compile our Kotlin code into a Java program and use the JVM to run it. So here we are creating a file, and this file has our Kotlin code. As you can see, this right here. And you can see the name file.kt, which, like I said, is the extension for Kotlin files where you put your programs in. And you have your code. And to run it, on the right hand, you can see right here in the terminal, you call the compiler and give it some arguments to compile your KT file into a jar file, which is the extension for Java applications. So let's give this a try right here. So I can create an empty file just like this, and I will close this for now. So this file, let's just open it for now, right? And let's put our code in. So we start by creating our main function. Don't have to worry about this for now. The main function is just the starting point of your Kotlin program. So if you can have multiple or many functions in your Kotlin program, but the function, which is called main, will always be the starting point of the program. The curly brackets, if you see I click on this side, it will highlight the other side. This shows me the scope of the function. So everything that is between these curly brackets is the scope of this function. So I can put my code here. I can start by doing something like println, which is the command we saw before, which prints something out to the console, a string. Welcome to Kotlin for Noobs, for example. After that, I can do another command, println, and I can do 6 plus 9. This will print the result of the addition right here to the console. And we can do something. That's enough. That's what we did before, and let's just stick to this because I don't want to get into variables right now. I can save this using Control S, and then I will rename it to test.kt. As you can see, it changed the icon, showing that this is a Kotlin program. As you can see, this is the Kotlin logo. And I will open my terminal here. And using the terminal, I will type the command Kotlin, give it some arguments, which is first of all the file name. So I will do test.kt, and then I will give it the argument include runtime. You don't have to worry about this. This argument essentially tells the compiler to include the libraries necessary to run this program. So, and then we do the output file, the -d, which stands for directory. You just give it a directory or a file name. We will just call it test.jar. The jar extension is for Java applications, as I said. And I'll hit enter. This will take a second, and hopefully it gives us a jar file. As you can see, the jar file has the Java icon, and this jar file can be run in the terminal to preview the result of our program. So we used Kotlin, the Kotlin compiler, to compile a Kotlin file which has some Kotlin code into a Java program. And now we can use the Java command to run this program. So we can do java-jar, give it the name test.jar, hit enter or return, and it will give us our output. As you can see, welcome to Kotlin for Noobs, and the result of our edition 15. So this is how you compile Kotlin programs manually into Java programs. So let's go back to our slides right here. So we've used the JVM, which is very nice. Also, you can run your Kotlin program as a script. As it says here, we can group individual Kotlin commands into a single file and run that file as a script. This is more like the interactive REPL that we did before, where we don't create a program here. As you can see right here, we just put the commands. We don't have the main function, which is the main entry point of the program, because this is not a program. This is just a script. You group your Kotlin commands together, put them in a file, and then you can run them directly in the terminal, in the command line, something like that. So why don't we have a look right here and try this out? Of course, we do not compile this into a Java program because this is a script. That is the difference between a script and a program. A program, you have to compile to run it. A script, you don't. You just run it immediately. So let's just create an empty file right here. I will open it. And we will put some commands, the same commands that we used before. We're not going to complicate things anymore. So we just do println whatever we want as a string, and I can type welcome to Kotlin for Noobs, and then we can print out some result of an addition, 6 plus 9, and whatever else you would like. So this is a group of 2 commands that I can do in the REPL. There is no function, no entry point, nothing. It's just a script. As we said, a script is different than a program. What we will focus on the most is Kotlin programs, as I said before. But it's nice to know that you can also do this. So let's just do test.kts. KTS is the extension for Kotlin scripts. Obviously, KT, Kotlin, and S for script. So we rename this, and then we go to our terminal, and we use the command kotlin-script, and it's already here, test.kts, the file name. And we just hit enter, wait for a couple of seconds until it executes, and it gives us our output, welcome to Kotlin for Noobs, 6 plus 9. Oh, and here I put it as a, this is the difference between a string and you don't put the double quotes for expressions or statements. This is just for strings. We will talk about this later. I just don't want to complicate things now. So let me clear this and run the command again, and we will see that it will give us the result of the addition instead this time. So as you can see here, it's 15, and we have our string, welcome to Kotlin for Noobs. So if you're wondering, a string is just a group of characters, and we group characters using the double quotes. That's how programming works. In many other different languages, programming languages, it's the same thing or pretty much the same thing. So that is what we have for this part, running as a script. And for the next part, we have running as an automatic script. Simply, this is the same thing, and it's something new that was added to Kotlin. As you can see here, when I ran it on the right side, when I ran it previously on my machine, it said that running Kotlin scripts is not supported. I don't think that it changed. However, I did update my Kotlin version, so why don't we give it a quick try, since it's almost the same thing as what we did right now. So you have your normal script and you add this line. Don't have to worry about what it means. You just add this line. I hope it's correct. And you have your group of commands here in the script, and you don't even need to change the name. You save your file, and then you go to your terminal and change the permission for the file. I think I should do sudo. Alright, so after you give it permission, this essentially gives the file permissions to run. So if you go to properties, I think, and you hit permissions, and it's not here. It should have executable. Yeah, oh, I did not see it. Executable as a program. This essentially just turns this on. You can do it using the GUI, but we are using commands. And to run a script, you can just run it like this. Just // the file name test.kts. Let's see if this works. And I hope it does. Yes, updating the Kotlin version did the trick for this time. So yes, this is something that was added lately to Kotlin. As you can see here, previously when I ran it, I think this was Kotlin 1.3 and now I have 1.8. So this is something new, and it's just easier than typing this command right here, Kotlin-script. This is just faster, and so this feels like it's a native program. By the way, if you are a Linux guy or gal, this is how you run binaries in Linux. You give it permission and then you do the / application or binary name, something like that. So that is all for this lecture. And this series, I'd like to mention that this series is based on a book which I used myself to learn Kotlin and to make the slides, of course, because this is what I learned and I'm teaching you guys whatever I know. It's a really good book and it has a lot of information. It has so many things that I cannot possibly cover in this course. So this is the book's name. At the end of every slide, I have this slide here. So you can buy it. I have an Amazon link. I don't know if it will work for you, but you have the book name, the author name, and the publisher. I highly suggest that you buy it to support the author, and it's a great way to learn at your own pace. If you can't buy it for any reason, or if you're not interested in reading a book, it's fine. I will try to cover as much as possible in this course, and my slides are always free. You can check the video description to get the download link. So that is all for this time. Until next time, and remember, on the internet, nobody knows that you are a potato, especially not a coding potato. And I would like to conclude with سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.